more on Israel's airstrikes on Iran and the response in the Middle East. We want to bring in CNBC's Dan Murphy live from Dubai. Dan, what can you tell us?
Becky, good morning to you. Well, the scale of this is already historic. I've been speaking with contacts inside Israel today who have expressed both shock and awe at what has unfolded this morning. Israel, of course, launching a sweeping military assault on Iran, striking more than 100 targets with over 200 fighter jets. Prime Minister Netanyahu also saying this operation will continue for as many days as it takes. Israel also taking a victory lap of sorts for this strike as well. Two of Iran's most powerful military figures, including the head of the IRGC, have been killed. And this strike also took out 6 Iranian nuclear scientists. That is a really critical blow to Tehran's nuclear ambitions. Meanwhile, also inside Israel, of course, the country this morning still in a national state of emergency. Reports say the Israeli military have been actively intercepting Iranian drones over the last couple of hours, and officials there also warning now of more missile and drone retaliation to come. So that's what we're watching closely. Meanwhile, also here in the Arab capitals, we have seen a very swift reaction to Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Qatar all condemning the strikes, saying they're concerned now about the fallout for regional security as well. And of course, in the United States, Becky, I thought you made an excellent point earlier about President Trump's post on Truth. Israel, of course, acting alone here, but the president's comments and his latest warning of more brutal attacks to come unless Iran signs a nuclear deal suggests, of course, that the U.S. does want Iran back at the negotiation table to get a deal done. So all eyes now turning to these really critical talks set to take place in Oman on Sunday between U.S. and Iranian officials, if they do eventuate, because that is when we could perhaps see the full impact of these strikes and whether or not the Iranians decide to acquiesce now or harden their stance. Becky?
Dan, as you mentioned, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, all of them making these comments where they're condemning the attacks. But isn't it the case that, look, Israel had to fly this mission over somebody's airspace? They would have known at least that the planes were there and, not done anything to stop those planes from flying overhead. I guess those countries have to be in a position of saying they weren't part of this and condemning it. But at the same time, you wonder if they are all that upset to see Iran's nuclear ambitions set back.
It's a good point. Well, they certainly benefit from it, don't they? And I have also been speaking with analysts over the last couple of days in anticipation of this attack. And the suggestion has been that Israel, for many years now, has been doing the so-called dirty work for the Arab states. But of course, this is a region, as you know full well, that has really been prioritizing peace and prosperity for some time now, particularly in the Gulf. They're more focused here on building out these economies, lifting up their societies. They don't want to see war in their backyard. So this has been really critical for them. At the same time, though, it is also fair to say that this instability in the region, of course, drives instability in other areas. And one of them is in the price of oil. They don't want to see volatility in crude, for example. And that is exactly what we have seen with Brent jumping above $75 a barrel in the Asia session and also on watch through the course of the US trading day as well. Brent at its highest level since January, and traders really, pricing the risk of potential disruptions to flows across the Gulf now as well. And the prospect of a broader Middle East conflict certainly raising the alarm in the Strait of Hormuz. I know you were talking about this earlier with Halima Croft and other guests. This is one of the most important choke points in global energy. 20% of the world's oil supply passes through this waterway each day. And of course, that connects Saudi Arabia, the UAE, the other major OPEC producers and their crude supply to the world. So when you see this type of activity, this type of disruption, it impacts everyone here. And that's perhaps what they're condemning, not so much the taking out of Israel's enemies.